Report, the movie podcast where Sean
and Mampy
watch shit, talk shit, and most importantly, eat shit. We are the law.
And guess what? We saw
Megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
Directed by, written, produced by Francis Ford Coppola.
That's right, folks. He's back.
He's back, baby.
Back, and ever is he back?
He is backer than ever.
He's backer than ever, and his back is covered in fat. There's a lot of fat on there.
Hair. There's hair on him.
Hair. That's what I meant to say.
Both, probably.
He's
fat, kind of a chunky old man.
Chunky. It's okay.
I mean, he's like fucking 80.
The older you get, the more okay it is, I say.
Yeah, that's true.
Just...
Who cares?
Hey, you could be one of these 90-year-olds on a treadmill. Hey, check. Anybody out there on a treadmill right now?
Check.
I love to ride a treadmill. That's what I'm here to say. What if I was on one right now? Oh yeah, I thought the
movie. Adam Driver.
I mean that no one's done that before. That could be the next step of this, the next evolution of this.
Sure.
Food court. How about workout?
Court.
Gym court.
Gym. How about gym movies?
Gym movies. Movie gym. Let's go on down to the movie gym.
Yeah, come on down to the movie gym. We're gonna sweat and talk.
Yeah.
Have you created any thoughts about this?
I have created thoughts about the movie. Now
you watched it today, right?
I watched it today, so it is fresh on my mind. Mm-hmm. And I think probably for the best, because it is quite a story, quite a tale, quite a lot going on.
Yes.
It's like...
Yeah.
That's how I would describe the movie.
I mean, it does feel like that very often.
And by the end, I was like... Now, I will say...
Yeah.
This movie has a lot of controversy around it. A lot of people saying things. A lot of people going, too long, too weird.
It's not actually that long.
It really isn't.
I mean,
comparatively.
Sometimes it kind of feels long, but
like,
it's only like 2 hours and 19 minutes, which is...
hey.
I mean, like 45 minutes shorter than every other movie that comes out
exactly. Yeah. I mean, I will give it credit for having lots of ideas and going for a lot of stuff. A lot of movies...
1 million ideas.
Yeah, they're just like... we'll barely do half of an idea badly. So I was like, well, hey, it's trying something. And
Halle Berry's in the woods and she got rope.
She got rope. They're eating
idea.
wood. That's it.
Hold the rope.
Hold that rope.
That's the idea for our movie. Is hold the rope.
Hey, if you don't hold that rope, you're going to die. That's that movie.
That's the idea. But this one is more like, if you destroy, what is this movie about?
If you make a society, it's eventually going to collapse. So you gotta, maybe,
if you
make
a futuristic, powerful city, then it will be able to live on.
One that is for the people. Build around community. Maybe we can survive.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. And I would love if they found whatever special space future material.
Megalon.
Yeah,
Obviously.
Megalon. Whatever if they could find some Megalon, I'd cast my vote. But okay, so overall, I've been dodging to answer this question. You know what? I think I liked it.
Oh.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think I liked it.
I'm somewhere.
Yeah.
It's weird because I have like 1,000 things I liked about it.
Yeah.
Like I have a bunch of things that I want to say that are positive about it.
Absolutely.
But I'm not positive I did like it. I mean, I felt myself at turns sort of bored and also fascinated.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, this is this shit is fucking crazy. I can't believe. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one of those ones where I just had to kind of be like, okay, this is doing whatever it's doing. I gotta just like check in for it, or I could definitely see if someone was just like, I'm just gonna go see a movie today. They'd be like, what the fuck am I watching? Yeah. But I was like, you know what? Let it do its thing. Let's experience whatever they're trying to say here. And yeah, there were times where I was kind of like, all right, let's pick this back up a little bit. And then it would do something crazy visually where I was like, whoa, okay, now I'm re-engaged. Yeah. And it kind of did a little up and down.
It was a roller coaster.
It was.
It was a definite roller coaster.
Which, I mean, hey, if they want to make a roller coaster of the Megalon City,
sounds fun.
Yeah, I'd go do it.
You just kind of stand on some weird glowing yellow stuff, and you just you grab your husband's hand, and then you go into the city.
Isn't that what we all want? To just grab our husband's hands?
Don't you just want to
fly into the city?
Giancarlo Esposito's hand
and fly into the city.
Just sort of move at like a nice pace.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, I could be walking. I like that there's an option. You could start walking as well.
Definitely.
It's kind of like if everything you walked on was like that stuff at the airport that conveyor belts you, which. People take that as an opportunity to stop, but it is an opportunity to walk faster, I believe.
To go really fast.
You can go like, it's pretty cool.
I run.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's like,
wow. Oh, God, no. There's a terrorist right behind me.
No, there isn't.
Keep running. Everyone run. There's a terrorist behind me.
Get on this.
But I say it in that voice.
Yeah, very
Not in like a convincing voice. I go, oh no, there's a terrorist behind me.
Sure would be bad if anything happened.
I don't want him to blow me up with his bomb.
I'm going to get out of here on this treadmill.
You know what the plot of this movie is?
Kinda.
Man, me too. There's our main man, Caesar. Mm-hmm. Played by Adam Driver.
Yes.
And he has a plan for a futuristic city. Mm-hmm. A megalopolis. Made from his Nobel Prize winning discovery, Megalon, which is some kind of futuristic fiber thing that you can make faces out of, and you can also make cities out of.
You can do anything with it.
You can do pretty much whatever you want with it. But he is also in a battle with Cicero, who is the mayor of New Rome, which also is New York City. And Cicero's like, you gotta stop this shit. And Adam Driver's like, don't you see what I'm doing?
Hello.
And he can also stop time.
Yes.
And Julia plays Cicero's daughter.
Yes.
And she is like a freewheeling party animal who meets Caesar and sort of decides that maybe she wants to be in on this idealistic vision. And there's also drama. There's side drama. Aubrey Plaza and Shai LeBeouf and a bunch of other people are doing some side drama. And that's it, basically. Caesar's trying to build a new world that is... He's trying to be like the one rich person who is a good person.
Exactly.
And everyone is against him.
Who they are.
And sometimes for good reason, because he's also like knocking down homes willy-nilly.
Exactly, yeah. He's an interesting character. You're like, wait a minute. You didn't ask anybody?
Who?
You just blew
what
up.
And who? And that is about as spoiler-free as you can get.
Yeah.
Though I will say, if you haven't seen the movie, it's very difficult to spoil it.
Yeah.
Because the plot is not the point of this thing.
No, not at all.
It's sort of like you like go, wow, oh, cool, oh, wow. And like weird things happen and interesting things happen, but it's rare when you're like, oh, I wonder what'll happen next in like a story fashion.
Exactly.
And like, oh, I wonder if they'll figure out who did that. Like, there's like murders revealed and you'll just kind of go, oh, what? Okay.
all right.
I didn't think they'd ever
Murder.
reveal that. Interesting. So that's the end of the non-spoilers.
Yes.
And we are in spoiler town now.
Hear ye, all come to the Colosseum of spoilers. Yes, see them all be spoiled.
Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a good day.
Everyone who doesn't want to see a spoiler, leave the Colosseum now.
You may leave. You may leave.
You may leave. You may.
I am Shai LeBeouf, and spoiler alert, I fuck my sister.
Go. It feels very Greek myth, Roman.
Yeah, they got
myths,
Caesar,
all
they
the
got Cicero,
stuff.
they got all the
Tragedies,
names.
Tales.
Crassus is a character in Spartacus, so he's probably based on a real person. I don't actually know any history of Rome, but
Hey, there's something going on.
there's something going on here.
It made me go, oh, I need to re-up my knowledge because they're mentioning some stuff that I vaguely recall.
I don't know shit
Sappho.
about shit.
Sappho is a god of love or something, I think.
Sappho is the god of hot lesbians.
Lesbians. Thank goodness. We all need one.
Yeah, baby.
But yeah.
Yes.
So it definitely feels way more like that than, hey, here's a movie.
Yes. I mean, you get a real sense of what is going to happen once Adam Driver shows up for like his first public appearance, and he quotes almost all of like the to be or not to be speech from Hamlet. And at that point, you can either decide whether you think this is pretentious or high-minded.
True.
You know, maybe somewhere in the middle. Who knows? But it is definitely aiming for something that is intellectual.
Absolutely, yeah. And that, I mean, I feel like if you were just an average moviegoer and they started talking like that, you'd be like, oh, God, here
Fuck.
we go again.
Yeah.
But I didn't mind it. I thought it added a little texture
Yes.
to the movie.
It felt like, I feel like older movies are less embarrassed by being smart.
Yeah.
Like you'll see like characters in movies from the 50s and 60s who like listen to classical music, and it's not like oh, look at this fucking weirdo, he listens to classical music.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, just like,
Hey, you're
I
a
enjoy
person.
the finer things.
Which is totally cool.
Yeah, isn't it?
Especially if your family owns the bank and has all the money. It's
Yeah.
like, well, might as well talk like that. Who else?
If I had like $700 billion, I'd probably learn a little Hamlet.
Yeah, why not?
Little
Little Hamlet?
Little
Put a
Hamlet.
little Hamlet in your pocket. Pocket.
Chocolate in your pocket.
Chocolate in your pocket.
Mampy,
Yes.
I hate to ask you this, as always, but what's the best part of this movie?
My beef lambiero, the best part of Megalopolis,
Yeah.
is the cool, visual, otherworldly. When it steps into that stuff, I was like, this is really cool.
Yeah.
Very fun and like bizarre looking, mostly successful looking. I felt like there's some
think, yeah.
stuff a little shaky, but I was like, this looks pretty cool, and I
Yes.
just love that stuff there, especially big spoiler territory. When our main character, I don't know if you could say that, but one of the mains, Caesar, he gets shot in the head, and that I was like, oh fuck.
Wow.
You see, you know it's gonna happen, but you're just like, oh god. As soon as this little kid walks up to the door and he's like, here's a book, and then Caesar's like, I love books. Did you know that I used to be a little kid? He's like, yeah, thanks, and he just shoots him in the head, and that was wild. I was like, holy hell.
It was awesome.
Yeah, and then he goes into this wild, warped, dream-like. He's like stopping. He's like, if I can control time, I can control my thoughts. And he's like trying to manage his thoughts while he's been like fucking shot in the fucking eyeball.
Yeah. While he's maybe dead,
Yeah,
or
you're like, whoa.
maybe on the verge of death.
Yes, and they show the Megalon material rebuilding his like he's just got like a skull and you're like, oh gosh, it's really wild. And I really liked that stuff. I was like, this is cool. Looking at flashes back to like him at all these different points of the movie and went back to when he was like drugged up, and that was another cool sequence.
Yeah,
really fun and freaky.
I thought I mean, maybe not all, but a lot of the like comparisons or the juxtapositions of like affected scenes and non-affected scenes are very interesting, because like lots of the stuff when you're like on the ground level, when you're just like driving a car, kind of looks sort of regular, like a kind of gritty crime movie or something like that. And then like anytime they're in the clouds or maybe in a dream state or maybe who knows where.
Yeah.
And once they start building the Megalopolis out of the Megalon, all of that stuff was really interesting.
Yeah, I was like, whoa, this looks wild.
Yeah.
It was just cool to see it.
Like when they're on a lot of the times and right at the beginning, they're on the top of the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
And like you instantly get a real sense of like the kind of maybe magical realism or whatever you want to say about this, the way this world works, where like time is moving slightly faster than it really does. Like all the clouds are going quite fast. And you're like, well, he can control time, which we find out, but can he control it in different ways than we imagine?
Yeah.
Because all we see is that he stops time.
Exactly.
But there's some time when it seems like, I don't know, is time going by really fast for some reason? Or is that evocative of the fact that he's in his thought zone and like time is going by because he is, he's not paying attention to time?
Exactly.
Who knows? But all that stuff looks cool.
Yeah, it looked really cool. I thought that was a good way to just pull you right into the movie. You're like, ooh,
yes,
a little fun element. And
you got Larry Fishburne.
Oh, classic. Him reading anything's gonna sound cool. You're like,
really smart.
Yeah,
idea. It's
really
weird that he drives a car and that's his job, but it is interesting that he also is. He's like the biographer of Caesar.
I did like that because like he sounded so like mythic and stuff, but then he's just like this driver guy, and there was something. It felt very like you brought up like Hamlet or I'm thinking like Macbeth has the gravediggers.
Yes,
I think like there's a point where they cut to these like band players in a marching band, and they're just like reading a magazine, and they sound really stupid, and I was like, this feels very much like these little cutaways to these characters that don't really matter, but they're like speaking about like these broader things going on. And I was like, I like stuff like that. The tuba player, or probably a sousaphone player, if we're being honest, he joins Claude Pulcher, who's played by Shai LeBeouf, who is Caesar's cousin, evil cousin. Claudius.
And he becomes more and more insane.
Yes, he does.
They both become more and more insane together.
Power hungry.
At one point, the sousaphone player, he climbs onto like a tree stump that has been carved in the shape of a swastika.
Yeah, that was wild. I was like, oh,
really, just wild shit.
Yeah.
Okay, what's my most favorite part?
Oh, yeah, what's your beef lamb gyro?
I will say I've got like 5 or 6 different things that I thought were really funny, and those were some of my favorite parts. I think my most favorite part, there's like 2 different parts where they go into this like 3-panel thing. Everything is cut up into 3 panels, and like they kind of show different scenes and kind of sometimes combine into one big triptych. But yeah, but the first one is, I think it's the first one. Driver says, "Time, show me the future." And they play this music, and like it's him while he's working on the ideas. Like he hasn't quite cracked Megalopolis yet, so he's working on stuff. The music's really good, and there's like all of these drawings of Megalopolis that are sort of being animated and like expanding, and they're showing all different stuff. And that kind of stuff really I found sort of moving.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was unexpected to me because a lot of the stuff I didn't feel moved by at all.
Yeah.
Even as I was enjoying it or like thinking it was funny or weird or something like that, I wasn't feeling very emotionally attached to it. But like those moments and a few other moments, I was like, wow, this is kind of powerful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And some of it is just that like the idealism of the movie is sort of touching in a way.
Absolutely.
I was reminded of this moment in Sneakers. There's this moment in Sneakers where, like, essentially this ragtag group of goofballs has stolen all the money from the Republican Party and, like, donated it to the NAACP and, like, other, like, wanting organizations.
I love it.
And some of the stuff in this felt like that kind of thing where it's like, I'm trying to save everyone and make everything great. And I'm like a rich person and a smart person who's not just trying to, make more money and do more evil shit. And it is obviously a kind of a stupid thing. Like that's not true. But it's nice to see it in a movie.
Yeah, exactly.
To think like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if any of our billionaires were like, you know what, I'm going to put all of this towards something good.
Yeah.
And obviously, Caesar is completely imperfect. He is not perfect at all.
Exactly.
And he does a lot of bad things on the way, but he's trying. He's at the very least trying to do good things. And I just found that kind of powerful.
Yeah, I there was a line, I don't know it exactly, but like they do this really cool cut where it's like all black and then it's just a little square at the bottom of or a little rectangle at the bottom of the screen, and he's just like saying these ideas of like a world where we can all talk about and like try and plan these things together. That's utopia rather than like having the giant whatever, like just creating a space. And I guess the movie kind of does that with having, I mean, just one central area has his like Megalopolis, and then the rest is just like regular world city, and it's just like, hey, this is just an idea, this is like maybe we can try something else, like just have it be open, because like in our world it's just so closed off from like, well, this is just how it is, it's awful and we just have to do it this way forever. It's like,
sorry,
why don't we try to talk about it and maybe we can create something else. It's like, I don't know, I was really touched, especially by the ending. Like it just really hit me and was like,
that last speech is really good.
Yeah, it was really beautiful, and like this idea of us needing each other and community, it can like come off cheesy or whatever, but like I feel like especially the bleaker things get, I've just been more like, we really do need messages like this and like ideas like this.
Absolutely.
I don't know. That's when it really swept in and hit me, and I was like, I'll admit it. I was crying at the end. I was like, oh,
yeah,
it got me.
I think Adam Driver's really great.
Yeah.
Natalie Emmanuel, who plays his wife, is, I think, good enough.
Yeah,
she's pretty good. But like, there's this moment when Julia tells Caesar that she's pregnant. And like the joy of that moment together is really, and you know me, I don't want there to be any more children. I think it's evil to put children in this world. But within the frame of the movie, it was just like so beautiful and sweet and lovely, and I was like, wow, this is really sweet and beautiful.
I love that. And then like once they're together, he's just like, all my energy and creativity like is because of you, and like he starts like really being able to like put his stuff into motion and create things. So I was like, this is really, I just like that, because you can be an insane genius all alone like as long as you want and have nothing really happen, but it's like once he let someone in and like connected and got past his like tragedy and trauma,
and also how much like her influence is an important part of the thing. Like when she joins the team, there's like more people there. They're working, like in a very obvious way, they're like doing trust exercises and shit like that. And like, there's more when we first meet him, he's like alone with another guy, and they're working on stuff. Yeah, and they look unhappy. And like, once she is in his life, he has so many new ideas, and he has so many people around him that he's trying to get to these ideas with. Like, he's like, I'm smart, but maybe I need other people, and I thought that was also good.
Yeah, I thought that was great. And, like, his response to, like, this big rioting crowd at the end, like, trying to get in there, he's like, oh, the gates are open. Like, this is for everybody. Like, this
Come on in.
Just me being a rich guy. Like, I want everyone to benefit from this. I was like, that's really... And the kid, like, mirroring the scene where the kids are, like, just watching all the rich people go into this dumb coliseum, and then they're there, like, at the end, like, being inspired and seeing hope. I was like, that just was nice. It just felt nice.
It's lovely.
I don't know. There were some really cool... the visual stuff, like, I did go back and forth, which I'll get into my other stuff later. The not so great stuff. But some of the, like, really cool visual stuff, there's, like, a really great shot with these, like, statues that are, like... moving like really subtly, and I was like, oh, it's really not like Justice, you know, is like falling and like dropping the sword and stuff. I need to look through what the other ones really symbolize.
I don't remember who the other ones.
Yeah, there's like a
there's one guy holding a tablet.
Yeah,
who knows what he was up to.
And there's another lady who like just can't like get off the ground or something. I was like,
oh yeah,
it just looked really cool. I was like, oh, that effect is like really cool.
Yes,
it looked like just straight up statues moving. Yes. I was like, whoa, uh-oh.
I mean, as much as this is a mad passion project with him dumping all of his money into it, but, you know, if you do that and, you know, maybe you pay attention and spend a lot of time on the effects, a lot of times they'll just look fucking awesome.
Yeah, I really like, and the more practical, I don't know how practical a lot of it, but like when they get out of the car after they drive to where his, you know, where he sits with his dead wife who isn't really there.
Yes.
They like get out and it's like this fog and like the city's in the background. It just looks so fun and like cinematic.
Really cool.
I was like, this stuff is really, that's why I just like, as like messy and wild as it is, I'm just like appreciative. I'm like, this is just a cool, like this is cool to see. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like,
he's just going all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. That moment when like a flower stand emerges out of fog.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is amazing.
It was wild. Or
this shit is crazy.
He walks in with those flowers and like a couple of them just like fly off. I was like, whoa, this is wild. I was like, whoa. I love these little weird magic touches. It's like so interesting.
And then he's kissing his dead wife.
Yeah.
And then we see someone else's perspective and he's just like hugging a space of air.
Yeah.
Where his imagination of his dead wife
is.
It's like, wow, boy, that guy's got a lot of trouble in his brain right now.
He's got a lot of issues. Yeah.
But there's funny stuff.
I
wrote down funny stuff. Okay, these are my favorite funny things. Mm-hmm. At one point, Caesar's not even on screen, but like you just hear him talking. I don't remember what else is happening, but he's like talking about how he loves hors d'oeuvres, and he says the Nobel Prize should have been for whoever invented those, and he's referring to the pigs in the blanket. I like that a lot.
Good. I love that. I love that whole scene when she came in and talked to him the first time. I thought that was really fun.
Yeah.
There was a mix-up where he said something and like she's talking about the Nobel Prize and he responds something, but he's responding to an earlier line. Yeah. And she's like, no, not the Nobel Prize. I'm talking about something. I was like, there was a nice, just nice back and forth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's a Dustin Hoffman line. He's where is he? Oh, he's at Cicero's house. You know, trying to get some shit together. Dustin Hoffman is sort of a fixer, but also like there's a million different actors in this who are like the tiniest possible characters. Yeah. Like Dustin Hoffman has like 3 lines.
Yeah, he's a really small role.
But he has one of the best ones, which is I don't mind the lightning, but the thunder scares the shit out of me.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really nice.
That was really funny.
I love the mix of, like, it would be, like, highly poetic, and then suddenly they'd just be talking normal. I kind of liked it. I was like, that's fun.
Yeah, and I think that is obviously inspired by Shakespeare, because, you know, Shakespeare would love to have, like, someone farting on balls or something, and then of course then Hamlet talks about something, and then somebody shits on a bird's head or something. He just liked that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fun.
There's a moment, Shia LaBeouf, who is insane.
Absolutely
and
insane.
Honestly, maybe the perfect part for him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, in almost every movie, I find him to be like an unbearable prick. Even when he's like, I'm the good guy.
Yeah,
I'm just like, oh, I fucking I can't hate anyone more than I hate you. You're just like the least likable person. But in this, he plays the least likable person, and he's just perfect. At one point, when soon after Caesar has been shot in the head, and he's walked in, and he's like kind of even slightly freaking out inside of Wow Platinum's house, played by Aubrey Plaza.
Wow, Platinum.
And he's got like a big bandage around his head where there's Megalon covering up his bloody head, which actually, it's probably not bloody anymore. It's covered in beautiful Megalon by then. But Shia says, when I heard you were... he's got this weird accent.
Yeah, it's like wild.
Not southern, but it's kind of mush-mouthed. When I heard you were shot, I was pissed that I didn't get to do myself. and it's total silence. And he's like, come on, man, I'm just joking. He's like, really... He doesn't get the tone of the meeting. It's good.
I really like that. And it was batshit crazy, but when he like is talking to Aubrey Plaza and she's like trying to like manipulate him, he just like pulls off the wrapping and goes like, ting! And there's like 5 of him, and it like went all like like, I don't know, like spiritual leader moment or something. And
yeah, like, it's sort of, it reminded me, what fucking movie did I see earlier this year? There was some Indian movie I saw earlier this year where there's like a battle, and like one guy sort of has the powers of the gods, and one of his powers is that he has like 5 heads, I think. So just like the heads appear out of his body and he's doing fighting and stuff. And it really reminded me of that. I wonder, I mean, they also played sort of vaguely Eastern sounding music, so it made me think that maybe it was inspired by that kind of thing.
There's also
probably
like
not the same movie.
I mean, I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but there's a part early on in that conversation when Julia and Caesar first are talking, where he like, it's such a throwaway moment where he like lifts up his jacket and it's got a book that's like Siddhartha's. Whatever. Oh yeah. And I was like, I want to know more like what that is about so I can read into like those things. But I was like, I like these little weird hints. Yeah. The movie's like, hey, look. It's kind of fun. Yeah, and there's also in that scene lots of insane focus pulls. Like she's talking, he's like being obsessive compulsive about a fork, and it like focus pulls to the fork and then it goes back to her, and it's very interesting, weird shit. Yeah. My final funny thing and my final euro, John Voight, he plays scene. Hamilton Crassus, and is he Adam Driver's dad? I have no idea. They're cousins. Yeah, okay. So I guess his uncle. It's uncle. Yeah, okay. So Uncle Crassus. Uncle Crassus. Uncle Crassus. He has had his life taken over by Wow Platinum, played by Aubrey Plaza, and she has taken his bank away from him, taken all his money away from him. Very true. And he has started to pretend that he has like a stroke or something. Yeah, he's doing kind of this like slightly fallen stroke face, and it's wild. Shia LaBeouf and Aubrey Plaza are in the room for some reason, and he's like, "Hey, check out my bone." Yeah, it's amazing. He's got what looks sort of like a really oversized boner under a blanket, and then he uncovers it, and it's a tiny bow and arrow. Yes, and he shoots and kills Wow Platinum. It's wild. I was like, "Holy shit!"
And then as Shia LaBeouf is running away, he shoots him twice in the ass. It's really fucking
That scene
amazing.
was amazing. And it also, like, there's a line earlier that felt, like, really dumb where they're like, oh, that's what's his face. The only thing bigger than his wallet is his dick. And you're
Yeah.
like, and then I was like, oh wait, maybe that was all to be like, hey, look at his giant boner, but then
Yes.
bow and arrow.
Hey, look at my boner.
Boner.
It's a cool thing to say.
It is. I
Nobody
love that
says that
scene
anymore.
That scene was great. I love that Shai got 2 arrows in his butt. And just seeing John Voight shooting those little arrows, he looks so crazy. He was just like, and I love right before that scene, like right before that scene starts, or I guess at the beginning of it, he's sitting there monologuing out loud.
Yes.
And then he like notices they're coming in and he like redoes his like face. Yeah. I was like, that was hilarious.
He does stroke. Oh, I forgot to do my stroke face. I
Yeah,
better turn
it was
that
good.
on.
It was very good. I did not see that coming. And I was glad the movie was just like, oh, here's your reward for being slimy, scheming, awful people. Like, it was kind of nice that they got what they deserved. I was like,
Yes.
hey, that's what happens. That's what happens.
That's what happens in a beautiful world.
That's what happens.
Do you have any other beautiful things before we start?
I really liked, they're talking about, like, I think he's, when he's in his little, like, near-death dream, Caesar's near-death dream, and they, like, show, like, that cool flower, and it just, like, falls apart, and, like, they show, like, how his wife, I think this is when it happens, when she went off the bridge.
Yes.
Or maybe it's later when Giancarlo offers him the letter where he's like,
It might be.
I'm the one who covered up your wife's murder or whatever, which was
But she
wild.
wasn't murdered, right? Didn't she just drive off the thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
death, I guess. And I think maybe that's when they do it, where they go in and they show like the underwater with like her body shape, and then it's like, and then he finds the megalon, but they show it depicted as like 2 twin babies inside of her.
Yes.
And then it turns into like a bunch of people painted like that, and they like turn and they all become like rocks, and I was like, whoa, it just like
Really crazy shit.
messed my mind up. And then like this idea of like perhaps Megalon being love itself or something.
Yeah.
And like, because they use like a piece of, I guess, her hair, and like that's how they rebuilt his face. And I was like, that idea of like love being like because I've been reading a lot about this Bell Hooks book called All About Love, and like we just read this whole thing about like living life with a love ethic, and like that bringing people together and making better communities. And I was like, oh, whoa, I was like, this kind of ties in perfectly with this Megalopolis. Anyway,
My man Francis Ford.
yeah.
Maybe he been reading the same book. Maybe he been reading the same book.
But I love that part. I went, wow. I love when a scene happens in a movie where I just go, whoa, what am I looking at?
What the fuck is this shit? There are a lot of scenes in this
Yeah.
where I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, what's happening?
There's like, at some point, there's girders in the sky. Metal girders, steel girders. I don't know. Maybe they're not steel. But it's like the first time Caesar and Julia admit their love to each other and they kiss. And it just looks really fucking cool.
It looks great.
Yeah.
And I love where
Looks badass.
he like can't stop time, but then she's like, do it for me, and then it works. I was like, oh, this is just sweet.
It's
Ain't that sweet?
It's nice.
But it can't all be nice, can it?
No. Sometimes we gotta say stuff we don't like.
Sean?
These, Mampy, are our low mains. The worst parts of the movie.
Yes.
Mampy, what's the very worst part of this movie?
My low main of the picture, Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis, is that in general, a lot of the stuff that wasn't magical looking kind of looked like a TV show.
Yeah, I can see that.
It almost felt like this could have been a mini series on like
Sure.
HBO or something. Like it felt very TV show, like the lighting, everything.
Yeah.
Where I was like, I have to kind of put this out of my brain because it's kind of making me not like it as much. So once I put that out of my brain and just was like, whatever, this is just what it looks like. I was fine. But I was like, I just kind of wish it had a more cinematic feel all the time.
Sure.
And I felt like a lot of times it didn't. And I was like, back to TV show land.
Yeah.
That was a bit tough, but
It is tough when a lot of, I I don't know what the percentage is, but when a lot of it is like really really wild shit.
Yeah.
When it's like, oh, these like vast skies and they're on top of buildings and then sometimes they're just like in a bed.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Sometimes you have to be in a bed.
It's true.
It doesn't always look as interesting.
It doesn't always look as interesting. I tried not to fault it too much. I was like, I like what this movie's saying, and I think it's very interesting. And the stuff that really works is like so cool and exciting.
Yes.
But yeah, I was like, maybe some of this. And then another thing, you know me and title card things are tough.
Jesus.
And there's a lot of them in this one.
There's chapters. Yeah. Chapters after chapters.
I just don't know if it was necessary. Like, there could have almost just been, like, Lawrence Fishburne, like, talking to us, or, like...
And he says something. Most of them.
Yeah, just, like, it just did... I still just don't like them. I just don't. And a lot of movies I love have them, and I'm just like, just wish
Why
this
are they carved
here.
in stone?
Yeah, this was...
I mean, they're carved in stone because maybe it's, inspired by... silent movies, depiction of that era,
or feeling mythic.
Who knows? There's lots of kind of references to old Hollywood movies, and so maybe that. But yeah, it just looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite. I didn't need it, I guess. But
yeah, so Lawrence Fishburne's talking, and for some reason, it's carved into marble.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. I didn't mind so much when it first showed the building and he read it, and I was like, okay, this feels fine. And I mean, maybe they could have got away with it if, like, it felt more like that, like sides of buildings with it carved in.
Sure.
I maybe wouldn't have minded. But when it's just like flat, big text, I was like, I don't know.
And so much of it is stuff he's writing in his notebook.
Yeah.
Well, fucking have him write it in his notebook.
Yeah,
or have it. Or have it be him, like, even more old-timey Hollywood, like he turns the page of a fucking book. Yeah. And it says it in there, which is at least a physical thing.
Exactly.
Like, just showing some CG.
Yeah, I think that's what bummed me out. Like, even if it had literally been a prop that they carved into, it would have been better.
That'd be great.
Because it just doesn't read as... It just didn't even look right. Like, it was, like, blown out and, like, kind of... It just was a little off.
It doesn't look like stone. You're not like, oh, that's a stone.
That's a stone. No, that's like a stone.
That's a person who tried to make a thing look like a stone.
And it didn't quite...
It doesn't really look... It looks like a facsimile of a stone.
Yeah.
So...
That was the original title of the movie, but they were like,
What about Megalopolis?
Megalopolis. Yeah. Megalopolis. Megalopolis.
Ladies and gentlemen, Megalopolis.
I do think that Shia did a good job being unbearable, but I still, a lot of times, was like, ugh. Just some of the deliveries and stuff was still just like getting a little out of hand, where I was like,
sure.
All right. Also, him like... in the room, like, with the giant camera was just, like, a bit much. I was like, I don't know if I need all this. It's getting a little silly.
He is unbearable.
Yeah.
He's very effectively unbearable, but sometimes it's too much.
He's a great villain in this.
Yeah.
I love when he's maniacally laughing, dressed up as one of the sisters. I was like, this is wild.
He should be a villain in more things.
He should be.
He should never, ever have any heroic roles.
Yeah. Never, ever.
Because it's never once worked. Right?
Yeah.
Has it ever once worked?
I don't know. I mean, I was under the spell when the first Transformers came out. I was like, wow, I love Transformers. And then
I've never seen that first Transformers. Please forgive.
It's definitely the best of them, but I went back and watched it. It's not great. Like, there's some stuff where you're like, what? How did this happen?
I mean, I love Michael Bay. I should watch it.
Yeah. Shia is very good at yelling, Optimus! When something bad happens to Optimus.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So... Milo Main.
Yes, what's your worst part?
Which I've already kind of discussed, is that I just didn't like it that much.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't hate it, but there was just a lot of it where I was like, I wasn't keyed into anything that was not the visuals or something.
Yeah.
As like I mentioned, I just didn't. There were large spaces where I didn't feel any emotional involvement. Where I was just like simply watching it, and a lot of the stuff I watched was really cool. And once I was emotionally involved, I really liked it. But there was just a lot of stuff in between where I was just like simply looking at it, which is, I mean, that's fine. That's a perfectly fine thing to do.
Yeah.
I like to look at things. But it is definitely not a plot movie, and I don't really care about plot if I care about the characters, but I sometimes didn't care about the characters.
Yeah, I mean, Caesar I was invested in.
Yes.
I was like, this is interesting.
His performance is so awesome.
Yeah, he's just great in general. He really sold that, and had some really cool, like, physical stuff he got to do in this movie.
Yes.
Wild stuff. I thought that was...
Got to shake his arms around.
Shake his arms. Got to
get really fucked up.
I think lay on 10 other people who were doing hands behind him or something. That was really fun looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it, I think, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I think the overall message and theme and especially where it ends, I was like, okay, they got me by the end.
Yes.
It is a little clunky at times.
I think it got better.
Yeah, absolutely.
As it went.
It was like...
And I think it was kind of like, I don't know what the shape was, but it's sort of an incline.
Yeah, it's like,
And, the final speech is quite beautiful.
Yeah, really great.
But yeah, and it's a very vague thing. I truly wish I could be like, well, okay, there's a few things. I think I maybe am the person who doesn't like Aubrey Plaza that much.
Yeah, she wasn't my favorite, I gotta be honest.
I think she's fine.
Yeah.
But I don't understand. She's like not quite, what's her name? Aquafina or something?
Yeah, not that level.
But it is like a thing where she's in every single movie. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why she's in it. Like, I think she's fine.
Yeah.
She's like an interesting looking person. She's occasionally funny sometimes. Mm-hmm. And she, like, at the very least has stopped rolling her eyes.
Yeah.
Every, like, moment.
That is
Which has been very helpful.
Yeah.
Because there are some performances where she is literally rolling her eyes every 13 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus fucking Christ.
They've created whole drinking games off of her eye rolls. No, I don't know.
I mean,
that would be wild. Yeah.
You wouldn't survive.
You wouldn't survive, dude. You would die.
You'd be fucking dead.
You would be dead. I think she wavered for me. I didn't really like her at first in this, like, as the reporter, just wasn't quite working for me.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think as she becomes more of, like, the snake, like, taking over, I was like, okay, this is starting to work and this is functioning, but...
She was definitely better as an evil lady for me than she was as a reporter or something.
Yeah, and also, like, her connection with Caesar felt kind of flimsy, and, like, I didn't sense really any... I know we were seeing, like, the end of their relationship, but it just felt like I don't even know how this would have started. Like, this, like, high intellect, like, in his own world guy, and then this, like, kind of silly reporter lady who's obsessed with...
maybe he was just horny.
True. That is true. That is a good thing to remember. At the end of the day, he's still just a dude.
Sometimes dick, man, gets hard.
It's true.
But... I similar to that, like, I didn't feel like she would keep saying things like, I love you, and maybe this was just because her character in the end is not really that kind of person, but she likes to say that kind of thing in order to manipulate people. But I didn't feel like she loved him.
No, not at all.
Or any, but at the same time, in the end, all she wanted to do was have all the money and have all the power. Which is fine.
Exactly.
I get that.
Hey, I get it.
I want to have power.
Sometimes when you do that, you get shot with an arrow through your heart. and die. So
You do
just
sometimes
be
get shot with an arrow in your heart. I also thought, like, some people were just maybe not given much to do. Like, I felt like Adam Driver was given a lot to do.
Yeah.
Lawrence Fishburne was given a lot to do in his kind of speeches, but not much other than that. John Voight too, had a few moments where he got to be really drunk and it was funny, but otherwise he sort of was there.
Him messing up words did crack me up. I was like, this is funny. This is goofy.
Yeah. Oh, I also liked the Virgin song.
Yeah, that was wild.
Virgin turned into 4 different people.
That was wild.
Like, what the fuck is going on?
And then everyone lost it with the deep fake being I love, that little this idea of purity and stuff. That was really interesting. I like that was in there. The Vestal,
absolutely, ladies
or whatever.
I love virgins. Man.
Hey, who doesn't? Who doesn't?
I fucking love virgins, dude. What else do you have to say about this movie?
I think we covered pretty much everything. I think maybe the mom relationship was a little not as developed, or it felt kind of like I don't quite understand what they're aiming for with that, which is totally fine. I think that's fine if a movie isn't blatant about everything, but her showing up at the end, they had a very bizarre relationship.
Weird.
Where she kind of hated him, but was proud of him, but then at the end she was like, I'm not coming up there to celebrate with you.
Weird.
And he's like, all right, bye, Mom.
Bye, Mom.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
Bye, Mom.
Which that felt very mythic, and there's always weird shit with the moms. At least it didn't fuck her.
Moms are nuts, man.
Shit. Yeah.
Moms are fucking nuts.
They are.
In general, my thoughts are, this is a very, very interesting movie.
Yeah, very interesting.
Full of crazy, fascinating, weird, beautiful, ugly, lots of it's just full of ideas.
Yes, very.
And I would definitely much rather watch this movie than Never Let Go, or I think this is a thing we say always on the podcast is like, I would much rather watch a movie with crazy ideas. And
yes, exactly.
Mad scientist plans.
Yeah.
Than, whatever. Just a lady with a rope movie.
Lady with a rope movie. Well, we have to find out one more thing before we move on.
What?
Where does this movie fall on your is it better than Jaws or is it worse than the Mario movie scale? Our new segment.
It's not better than Jaws, but it's not worse than the Mario Bros.
There we go.
It's like for the listeners, I'm moving my hands
up and down.
Somewhere in the middle.
That was what we call dead air, and we do apologize.
We like it. Not enough people do it.
It's like a time for reflection.
There's always when there's dead air in a movie, you're not like, oh shit, someone better talk.
Yeah, when are they gonna talk again?
But in a podcast, you're just driving your car. If there's a little dead air, just look at a sign or look at the sky. That's what these moments are. They're a chance to realize listening to a podcast is stupid. You just have to get in touch with nature. Just hit delete.
Yep.
Throw your phone out the window. Drive your car off a cool ramp and let it explode.
But
that's
you
cool.
Have parachuted out and are now a valued member of a community, and you're helping them.
You're in heaven.
You're in heaven.
You float
That's
up.
Basically what the movie's saying.
You
gotta make your own heaven, baby.
Make your own heaven, baby.
Okay.
Well, we can't only talk about Megalopolis.
No.
We gotta talk about the other movies we watched, which brings us to a segment called Panda Express Presents. Express yourself about the movies you watched this week. Play that thing song, please.
Ding 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 ding. We got to do a song about the movies we watched this week. We call it the Panda Express, cause we got some things to express. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Thank you to our guest singer with their rendition of our song.
Was that John Mayer?
That was John Mayer. John Mayer came on in and did his little tune, and I'm very proud to say that I liked it.
He sent us a really rude email. We were like, hey, we're so excited to have you on the show today. And he was like, I may or may not show up. And we were like, you should show up.
Yeah, we would like you to.
Yeah, we're big fans. We love your kind of milquetoast pop music. And
hey.
Also your Grateful Dead shreds.
Yes. Hey, you always say fathers be good to their daughters. How about mayors be good to their potters? You know what I'm saying? You need to respect our time too.
Thank you.
But I am glad that you sent in that song. At least.
Thank you for
since
sending
you
in
couldn't
the file. Mampy, did you watch any movies lately?
I did. I watched the forgotten but still great.
Are you going to say Jaws?
No.
Jaws. Which is just as good as Jaws.
I watched a little film called Superstar, starring Molly Shannon.
Oh.
Will Ferrell.
Definitely forgot.
Other people. There's other people in it.
Was Chris Kattan in it?
He's not in it, oddly enough.
Weird. Okay.
Oddly enough. But a lot of people that I've forgotten their names, but they're really good, and it's great. I still loved it. I honestly think Molly Shannon is one of, she's the Caesar of that era of comedy. Whoa, this person is tapping in, and that movie is wild.
Never seen it.
It's a neurodivergence dream. It's all about being neurodivergent, really. It's a wild movie.
I'll have to check it out.
I still loved it. I was dying. I was like, this movie's great.
I need to check it out.
She just gets into that zone.
I love a goof.
It's a goofy. The whole movie just goofy bits that they stitched into a movie. And I was like, this is good.
I like when movies are goofy bits.
Be a comedy. When are we gonna get a comedy again?
Man, I don't know. I don't know.
Is it over?
Substance is pretty funny.
Okay.
It's very gross, but it's pretty funny.
Seen it.
You know what I saw?
What'd you see?
Starring NTR Jr. from RRR. I watched the number 2 movie in the world.
What?
Devora Part 1.
Part 1?
Which is, like many Part 1s I've watched before. I don't know if I'll ever catch the second part.
Yeah.
Because it's like it probably won't come out for like 3 years, and who knows where I'll be then.
Yeah.
But it kicked fucking ass.
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
NTR plays a classic badass named Devora. He and some other badasses live on this mountain.
Whoa.
Near the sea. And their job is to smuggle.
Ooh.
What they do is they sneak on to these container ships.
Whoa.
And they steal these containers, the small containers out of the big containers. And that's how they make their bread.
Whoa.
But Devora, he's a good man, and he's tired of being a bad man.
Aren't we all?
He doesn't want to do the bad anymore. And he's decided that they don't have to make money this way. They can make money the good way. But everyone who has been bad for so long, they don't want to do that. And so fights ensue. And it just absolutely rules.
Whoa, okay. Devora.
It's I just really enjoyed it.
I gotta check it out.
Pretty good songs. Lots of insane violence. People getting stabbed and shit. There's one moment, which is not a spoiler, where Deborah is fighting a bunch of guys, which happens a lot of times. And he's like killing them in the moonlight, and he slashes one guy.
Whoa!
Like with an upward slash, and the blood forms a little sort of half circle that completes the other half of the half moon.
Whoa!
It's just fucking
wild.
Awesome. He also rides a shark. Spoiler alert. He rides a goddamn shark.
Sounds so wild.
It kicks ass.
Hell yeah.
It's likely in my top 5 of movies of the year, but who knows?
Okay.
Somewhere around there. Definitely top 10. Deborah kicks ass. Check it out if you can. It's, as I said, number 2 movie in the world, so might hold on for a few weeks. So check it out if you can, especially if you're a fan of the maximalist cinema of Tollywood.
Maximalist.
Next week, I regret to inform you, Mampy, we're probably watching Joker Folie à Deux.
Folie à Deux.
Because that's coming out.
It's gonna be a hoot holler.
It can't be anything but miserable, but what if it isn't? What if it isn't?
I'm going in completely lobotomized.
Yes, that would be great. Yeah. I just hope the one thing that they keep doing in the trailer is whispering songs.
Yeah.
And hallelujah, come on, get it. And I hope they just start singing a song rather than just whispering every single song.
I'm hoping that's early on, and then they're like, boom, bop, 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 bop. We're singing a song
I'm
tonight.
loving it. Eye of the tiger.
I heard on Twitter that there were good reviews, but every movie has some
That's true.
article where it's like, this is going to change everything.
This is the next thing.
Yeah, this is the next Joker movie. That's right. I can't argue with that, man.
This is the next big Joker movie. There has never been a second Joker movie like this before.
I'm gonna be open to it. We'll see how it goes.
I love every movie.
Who knows?
Other than maybe 2 or 3 movies, I love every movie.
Yeah.
It's just like the Mario Brothers movie, Space Jam 2, and Antichrist. Other than that, I love pretty much every other movie.
Good. I like those 3. That's the trilogy. They should sell that as like a DVD set.
Movies I don't like.
Yeah, movies. That would be funny if we got somehow that level where we could distribute movies.
Distribute movies we don't like.
Yeah, that's our pack. Movies we hate.
Day ruiners.
Day ruiners. That is good. Yeah, ruiners is good.
I feel like Space Jam definitely ruined maybe 2 or 3 days.
It was bad. It made me pretty sad.
Yeah.
That one was tough.
Hey, come join us.
Please.
Watch Joker with us this week and come talk to us about it. Tweet at us at Food Court Cast. Let us know if you've seen Megalopolis. Let us know if you've seen Superstar or Deborah Part 1 or any other movie. We love to hear you. Give us 5 stars. I'm holding up 10 fingers, but I mean 5 stars on your favorite app. Write a question on Spotify. What does it do? Who knows?
Who knows?
Write a review on any app. And most importantly of all, just thanks so much for listening and watching. We love you so much.
We do. We do.
Mampy?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
For doing this. On behalf of Mampy Hikes, I'm Sean Barrett. I got old at some point.
Yeah.
On behalf of Mampy, I'm Sean Barrett saying to you, Bon Appetit!